This is the ultimate showdown of two of the best towns in all of Texas.
In one corner, you have New Braufels, the river tubing capital of the world, home of the world's best German beer festival outside of probably Germany. And you also have the most prime location probably in the entire state of Texas, being right between Austin and San Antonio. And in the other corner, we have Boerne, the hub of the Texas Hill Country, home of the Hill Country Mile, and one of just the most perfect little Texas small towns that you'll ever find.
For just about everybody thinking of moving to Texas, and especially the San Antonio area, and if you're looking for a small town suburb outside of the city, you have to consider New Braunfels and Boerne. And how exactly do you compare each of these two cities? Well, that is what the goal of this video is. We're going to go over several different things about each of these cities. We're going to talk about population, what each city is like, what the home buying process is like, how the locations compare, what there's to do in each of these areas. We'll also look at the school ratings, everything that you need to know about moving to these areas and exactly how you can make that decision. And I can tell you from true personal experience, I've had property and owned property and lived in both of these areas. So I will be able to give you all the details of exactly what you need to know. And at the very end, I will give you my personal take on exactly which one I would prefer and why you should move to each of these cities and why I think I would choose the one that I pick. So be sure you're watching to the end to figure that stuff out. And throughout the whole video, make sure you're commenting on what your thoughts are on each of the different points. And if you've learned anything before this video about, Boerne or New Braunfels, comment what your extra thoughts are if it's something that I don't mention in the video.
Now, real quick, before we get to Boerne and New Braunfels and start talking about that, I want to remind you guys that if you have any questions whatsoever about moving to the San Antonio area, to Boerne or New Braunfels, reach out to me, whether you're moving here in 2 days or 2 years. I have lived here my entire life. I've helped a ton of people just like you move here to these areas, and I would absolutely love to help. You can call, text, or email me anytime. My information is down below right here. Reach out to us at the Life in San Antonio, Texas home group. We will get you taken care of and help you get here to San Antonio. So unlike New Braunfels, Boerne is in a little bit more secluded location. It's not right in the middle of two big cities. It's north of San Antonio, probably about 15, 20 miles or so. But to get to downtown San Antonio, you're looking at about a 20 or 30 minute commute. It's right off I-10, so it's easy to go up north if you're going out to like Kerrville or Fredericksburg or something like that. But to get down into San Antonio, or especially the northwest side like UTSA, La Cantera, super easy drive to get down that way. So when it comes to location, New Braunfels, like I said, is in the most prime location that you could probably be in all of Texas. I mean, being right between two major cities in Austin and San Antonio, it is absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's probably 30, 45 minutes to get either direction. So I know a lot of people, I've helped a lot of people move here that can, commute to Austin, south side of Austin for their jobs, or commute into San Antonio. Now, one thing to think about is that 35 is not the most ideal highway to drive on. It is actually quite ridiculous drive. Traffic is always bad one way or the other, just I think because of the amount of people that are in New Braunfels and the amount of people that are commuting to both Austin and San Antonio. Now, looking at population, New Braunfels has a whopping 115,000 people plus some. Comparing New Braunfels and Boerne, both have actually grown over 20% since the last census in 2020. So New Braunfels has grown by over 26% and Boerne has grown by 23%. A lot of the reasons New Braunfels is growing so quickly and adding such a large amount of people, I mean, you look at that 26%, that's like over 25,000 people that are coming here to the city of New Braunfels in the last 3 years. I mean, that's just insane. That's more than the entire population of Boerne. A big reason for that is New Braunfels is very, very prone to development. They are a lot flatter, so they have a lot more, housing developments, and they're just spreading out a lot more. Boerne has always been more conservative when it comes to development, so they don't have a whole lot of land out there that they can just build a whole bunch of neighborhoods on. All these neighborhoods out in south of New Braunfels and Creekside it's really flat, so they can just throw up apartments and neighborhoods just everywhere. Boerne's in hill country, so it's not quite like that. So you have a lot less, options for building these big developments. And Boerne, just as a whole, wants to stay a little bit smaller, which I personally like a lot. Now, when it comes to downtowns, New Braunfels is by far superior. I mean, I'd probably put them at number 3 behind Austin and San Antonio whenever it comes to downtowns out of all of these big cities. I mean, it's pretty outstanding. All these people around here will come into New Braunfels for, the nightlife, to go out, whether it's going to Green or going to downtown New Braunfels. Downtown New Braunfels has all kinds of different bars and different places to hang out. Same thing with Green. It's just a really great place to just come and hang out. I mean, you look at this park that we got behind me too. I mean, there's all kinds of things to do in New Braunfels, and the downtown thing is just one of them. Now, when it comes to Boerne's downtown, it is a lot different than New Braunfels, but not really all that different, actually. I mean, it kind of looks similar. They both have this historical charm, as you can see, but Boerne is home to the Hill Country Mile, which is specifically for shopping. Got a whole lot of art exhibits. You got all kinds of different great dining options, a lot of bed and breakfast. I mean, it's really embraced the historical part of the downtown, the small Texas town downtown especially. You see all these old buildings that, just have all of this great, architecture, this old Texas architecture, as they call it. And it is just filled with all kinds of urban trail systems as well. I mean, you have a River Road Trail that goes by Cibolo Creek. There's a couple other creeks that run through town that have a couple different restaurants on them, so you can sit by the creek and, go out and take a walk afterwards. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to go with this small Texas charm of Boerne. Now, continuing on the things to do, restaurants and shopping in New Braunfels is just outstanding as well. I mean, New Braunfels is a pretty good-sized town. I mean, it's on the verge of being a small, kind of big city, really, is what I would count it at. You have Creekside, has all kind of the big chain stuff, the Targets, the Best Buys, those types of places, all the big chain restaurants. And you have downtown New Braunfels with all kinds of different high-end boutiques. Same thing with Green. There's all kinds of just different little boutiques and restaurants just scattered all throughout New Braunfels. I mean, just literally everywhere. I mean, you probably couldn't go through an entire year and get all of these different places. You also have a couple other different areas in some of these different neighborhoods. Veramendi is going to get some pretty good shopping centers. There's Green, like I mentioned, has all kinds of stuff on their own. There's neighborhoods within Green, so you can live there and kind of be close to all the restaurants and shopping that Green has to offer. So it's a lot going on with that. On top of all the other things to do, like the parks, like the Schlitterbahn, like the tubing, like everything else. There's just too many things to talk about when it comes to New Braunfels. Now, looking back on New Braunfels, so like I mentioned, I have owned property in both New Braunfels and Boerne. When we were in New Braunfels, we loved it because of the, everything that was going on. But now that we don't live in New Braunfels, we still come here all the time to do stuff, go out to eat and all that kind of different stuff. So it's got a lot going for it still. Now, continuing with Boerne on the restaurants and shopping, the difference here is, like I mentioned with New Braunfels has all the big box stores, the huge Creekside shopping center, but Boerne doesn't have any of that. Boerne has a lot of small little shops, very local things, a lot of things that are not anywhere else. They're specifically to Boerne. You have like the Dog and Pony. I'm trying to think what else we got. We got, Peggy's on the Green. We have Dodging Duck. We have a couple other different ones. I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff that, is not really, you won't find it anywhere else. So you can really go to all these different little one-off little, hole-in-the-wall places and have a different experience at each and every one. What I really like about this location of Boerne is that it does have what they need, though. It has the HEB Plus, big HEB grocery store. You got a Home Depot, so you don't really need to go anywhere else. You don't have to go all the way into San Antonio to get that stuff. But if you want to go to the mall, you're 15 minutes from La Cantera Mall and the Rim, the two biggest shopping centers in San Antonio, most popular shopping centers in all San Antonio, which is a super easy drive. I mean, and there's times in just getting across New Braunfels with the traffic, because of how busy it is, it takes that long or even longer, maybe even 20-30 minutes to get across town over to their shopping. Now, when it comes to schools, New Braunfels has a couple different school options here. So you have Comal ISD and New Braunfels ISD. Comal ISD is a huge school district. It includes a lot of the areas like over Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake, Garden Ridge as well. So Comal ISD and New Braunfels is pretty much everything underneath Canyon High School. Now, look at the school ratings. New Braunfels has a couple different school districts. You have Comal ISD, which is a really highly rated school district, but it's a lot bigger. It's a 93 out of 100 on the ratings, but it also includes schools over in like Spring Branch, Bulverde, Canyon Lake, and Garden Ridge. So it's not just New Braunfels. The Comal ISD within New Braunfels is Canyon High School and pretty much everything that kind of feeds into Canyon High School. You also have the Memorial Early College High School, which is in New Braunfels as part of like St. Philip's College system. Strictly academic only for that one, but it's extremely highly rated for its college prep. Now, looking at New Braunfels ISD, which is the second school district in New Braunfels, you're at an 87 out of 100. So not as high rated, but it is still a really good rated school district. You got New Braunfels High School and everything that kind of feeds into that, and they're getting ready to add a second high school in Long Creek High School. Let's get ready to go into here. Now, we also have a couple different private schools, New Braunfels Christian Academy being the main one. Now, when it comes to schools, Boerne is by far the king. They have the highest rated school district, highest rated schools in all of the San Antonio area. They have a Boerne ISD is a 94 out of 100. There's not a single school that is rated below 87. There's two schools that are B-rated, 87 and an 89. Everything else is A-rated schools in Boerne ISD. There's a couple different high schools, Boerne Champion and Boerne High School, the Greyhounds and the Chargers, both great public schools. And you also have a couple private school options, the most popular being the Geneva School of Boerne. Now, when it comes to employment, again, New Braunfels being a bigger city has a lot more options with this. Now, not including like the schools and the city itself, all the utility providers, all those different type of stuff. Those are probably the biggest employers in New Braunfels. The other major employers are going to be, the tourism industry, of course. I mean, that's the biggest industry that New Braunfels has going for it. And then you also have a couple big distribution centers. I mean, the huge Walmart distribution center is right there in New Braunfels, just right there kind of down the highway from Creekside, right off of 35. And then you also have a couple small like manufacturing facilities like, Continental, and then I think Lois is another one. But little bit of a variety, but a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, do commute up to Austin and to San Antonio for work. Now, when it comes to employment, Boerne is completely different than New Braunfels. It's a much smaller town, obviously, so there's really not a whole lot of stuff, big employers here. You have a couple different smaller ones other than the school districts and the city itself. You have like Albany Engineered Composites, and you have Mission Pharmaceutical, and there's a couple other little, manufacturing facilities around too. But most everybody here, if they don't work from home, they are commuting into San Antonio for work. Super common, but again, like I mentioned, it is very easy commute. They just redid I-10 going down into San Antonio, so the drive is very, very easy. I very rarely see that backed up like as bad as it used to be, and like as bad as like 35 is in New Braunfels. So it's a super easy drive to commute down into San Antonio. It's about 30 minutes to get downtown, so it's super easy from, coming from Boerne. Now, when it comes to real estate, New Braunfels, 816 homes currently for sale as of this video in the entire city. Now, and this range is quite strong. I mean, it's all the way down to probably about 250,000 starting point, and there's not too many down into 200s, but there is a decent amount. And then that goes all the way up to the highest listed one right now is 4.2 million. So it's kind of a big range of different properties for sale. So you also have a wide range of different types of homes, right? So you have everything from the cookie cutter starter homes all the way up to, like the 1 acre, really nice homes, larger homes, more custom home neighborhoods like in Village Oaks and River Chase. And then you also have some of the uber luxury homes like down on the Guadalupe River and in a couple of these other neighborhoods like Copper Ridge. But as far as some of the main neighborhoods that I like to focus on and a lot of people look at are the ones like in Creekside, Village Oaks, Barramindy's a new big one, Oak Run right there by Barramindy, My Ranch. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones that are kind of all around the city of New Braunfels. Now, when it comes to real estate, a lot of Boerne is what we call the true hill country luxury homes. Now, Boerne's prices have gone up just drastically in recent years, and a lot of it has to do with not a lot of people wanting to leave Boerne. They get here and they do not sell their houses. So the ones that are selling their houses are selling them for a premium because there's a lot of people that want to be here. But there's just not as much inventory. Right now, there's about 430 homes on the market for sale. The starting price is around $320. That's the base price that you can get in Boerne, and that's very few under $350 realistically. Everything is pretty much $350 and up, and it goes all the way up to over $10 million. There's actually 20% of the homes in Boerne that are over $1 million to get into. Like I said, it's a lot of luxury communities up here, and I'm including all these areas like Fair Oaks Ranch as well. A couple of the big neighborhoods that are super popular luxury neighborhoods are Cordillera Ranch and Manger Springs as well, including Fair Oaks Ranch, the big golf course country club community. Cordillera Ranch is about the same thing. So you have all of these different places like this. Now, if you're looking at more affordable, more popular communities, Trail at Herf Ranch, super popular. That's probably going to be one of the more popular entry-level home places. You have Esperanza, which has, some homes in the 400s, but they're smaller homes, and those go all the way up to $1 million as well. You have Regent Park. You also have Balcones Creek, which is another one. Shoreline Park, which is a new home community by KB Homes. You can only build in that community. Very few spec homes for sale, but it's right by Boerne City Lake, which, when we're looking at things to do, Boerne City Lake is one of the best kept secrets of Boerne. I mean, it is super popular. Don't allow, a whole lot of, they don't actually allow any motorized boats, so you have to get a kayak, paddleboard, or sailboat out there. Really, really cool. But looking at other neighborhoods, luxury homes, outside of those, starter home communities and more kind of typical single family homes. Manger Springs is a big one, Cordillera Ranch. You have Sabinas Creek Ranch, Bent Tree, any of those areas in Fair Oaks Ranch. There's a couple different neighborhoods. Elkhorn Ridge is one's kind of in between, kind of 600, 700, all the way up to, about $1 million, but lots of different neighborhood options within Boerne itself. Now getting into the most important part, which one would I choose over the other? Now, looking at New Braunfels, I love these parks. I love these types of things. I love everything that there is to do in New Braunfels. We bring our kids here all the time. I mean, we absolutely love coming here. I mean, the Children's Museum, this is Landa Park that we're at right now. We go, over at Creekside, go out to eat, take them to the movies, go shopping over there. We do just about everything. I mean, this Landa Park has this train that goes through here. I mean, Slitterbot. I mean, there's so many different things to do. But what we have here in New Braunfels that Boerne doesn't have, that kind of gives Boerne a little bit of edge, is that small town feel. Now, when it comes to Boerne, what I personally love is all this small town atmosphere. It is unlike anything else. The small Texas charm is extremely hard to beat. You really cannot find that in New Braunfels anymore. I mean, everything is so built up that, it just doesn't have that, the good small town feel like it used to have not too long ago. So New Braunfels, if you're looking for some place that has everything and anything you need, has so many things to do, that is where you want to be. If you want to be in a place that has great school districts, that has outstanding, hole-in-the-wall places, local shops, local diners, plenty of things to do within town, and a close, easy drive to San Antonio. Boerne is the place that you need to choose. My pick has been, it probably will continue to be Boerne. If I could live anywhere else other than where I'm at, because where my family is, I would probably live in Boerne. We had property in Boerne. We ended up selling it, building in a different spot. But Boerne was our place for the longest time to raise our kids. And if we could do it, and if we could be close to our family at the same time, we would definitely pick Boerne. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Are you going to go with Boerne? Are you going to go with Braufels? What would you decide if you were moving your family here? Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever about moving to San Antonio, moving to Boerne, moving to Braufels. I'm here to help you guys with anything and everything you need. And if you want to check out a couple different videos about Boerne and New Braufels, check out these videos right here. See you in the next one.